We are at the notorious Congress Hotel in downtown Chicago here on Michigan Avenue. I always tell people on tours that if there's any place in Chicago that's haunted, it is this place. Very creepy on the inside. This hotel was built in anticipation of the World's Fair coming to Chicago in 1893, initially called the Auditorium Annex Hotel. The Auditorium building is still next to it. That was the original hotel. This was going to be the annex to house additional patrons coming in for the World's Fair. Eventually, after a while, about another 10 years or so, they stopped calling it the Auditorium Annex. It becomes the Congress Hotel. There have been many documented suicides that have happened in this hotel. Too many even to get into. Almost from the very beginning, right about the year 1900, a Spanish-American war veteran named Captain Louis Ostheim was staying in this hotel. And on the eve of his wedding, he was alone in his hotel room when he took a gun to his head and blew his brains out, leaving no suicide note, no apparent reason for suicide. Some did say he was suffering from some sort of war trauma, night terrors, which could have caused it. But his ghost has been reported seen throughout the building. They call him the Shadow Man of the Congress. Have you ever seen the movie The Shining?
Come play with us, Daddy.
I always like to tell people, if you're going to have a shining moment in a hotel in Chicago, it's going to be on the 12th floor of the North Tower of the Congress Hotel. There are parts of that floor where the doors don't match. The carpets are very old and worn. The woodwork is chipped away. Some of the paint doesn't match as you go down the hallway. Parts of the hallway are wider and then they get narrow. Can almost imagine standing at the one end of the hallway, the narrow hallway, looking down the far end, and you could see those two girls standing down there. The 12th floor is supposed to be haunted by a little boy. This little boy spirit, his name is Carl Langer, goes back to a murder-suicide that happened in the hotel in 1939. A woman comes here with her two sons, Adele Langer. They were Czech immigrants. They were fleeing Czechoslovakia at that time because Hitler and the Nazis were taking it over. They were trying to establish residency in this country. She comes here initially with the two boys. Her husband stays back in the old country trying to sell their business and their home. Several months go by. They only had like a temporary visa that they were in the country, like a 6-month visa. Several months go by and the mother loses contact with the father. Some say during this point she may have suffered a temporary or a nervous breakdown. She didn't want to leave her home country to begin with. Then she was afraid of being sent back there with Hitler and the Nazis taking over. One day, beautiful sunny August afternoon, she takes her kids to the Lincoln Park Zoo. They have a wonderful day together. Come back here to the hotel. They were staying in a room on the 12th floor. She just opens the windows, grabs the boys, and the three of them just leaped out the window, killing all three of them. They say the oldest son, Carl, the 6-year-old, there was 6 and a 4-year-old, is the one that haunts that 12th floor. Partially, they say that media coverage didn't really cover his death in that much depth and detail. They covered more of his younger brother, the 4-year-old. There's a security guard who worked in this building, still works here. He worked here for about 30 years. His name is John. Didn't initially believe in ghosts until he started working here. He claimed to encounter that little boy spirit on the 12th floor one day. He got a call. Some little boy was running around making a lot of noise on the 12th floor, so he went up there to investigate. Didn't initially see anything. Then he's standing at one end of the hallway. Down the far end of the hallway, he sees a little boy. He said he looked like any other little boy, except his clothes look a little more older and worn. He said he just pointed at that little boy and said, "Hey, you're not supposed to be up here running around." And he said that boy just looked at him, grinned, and slowly faded away right before his eyes. At that point, John believed in ghosts. He encountered that little boy a couple other times. He also encountered him once very briefly in his own home. He said he was at home one night about to relax. He was sitting down in his easy chair, put some soft music on. He was about to open a book and start reading. He looked up. For just a split second, that little boy was standing in front of him. And then, just like that, the boy was gone. The fourth floor of the South Tower, room 441, many people consider that to be the most haunted room in the hotel. Many people report calling security because they see a woman standing over the bed, hovering over the bed, pushing or tugging on the bed or pushing or tugging on the covers. Nobody knows exactly who this woman is. A lot of people have reported her. Some say they even see her coming in and out of the bathroom. A ghost of a vagrant with a peg leg that they nicknamed Peg Leg Johnny has been seen throughout the building. There was an old Chicago City judge who, when he retired, he lived full-time in the Congress Hotel. He used to be a bit of a prankster in life. When he lived in the hotel, he used to take the old-fashioned TV clickers, go up and down the hallways, stand in front of people's doors, and turn their TV with his clicker, turn their channels. People thought like a ghost was turning the channels. After death, they say he still likes doing that. Security reports getting many calls from people saying that their TV channels are changing on their own. Celebrities that have stayed in this hotel who in the middle of the night have experienced weird things. One celebrity saw what he thought was a shadow figure moving back and forth in his closet. So freaked out that he checked out of the hotel, went down the block, and checked into the Blackstone Hotel. There's lots of stories of that happening here. There's a couple of ballrooms. The Gold Room, which is considered to be haunted. Some say the ghost of a woman in old Victorian clothing has been seen in there. Some have even photographed her. There's another more creepier ballroom, the Florentine Room. In that room, Teddy Roosevelt's political career ended there. He lost the Bull Moose Party nomination there for presidency. Some say his ghost haunts that room. Definitely a very haunted hotel. Was voted in some online polls as one of the most haunted in the country. I consider it to be the most haunted here in Chicago, definitely.